Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Thanks for joining me once again. Today is Tuesday, March the 20th, 2012. And we have another beautiful day here in downtown Toronto. It's the first day of spring today, so that makes me very happy. It looks like we've survived yet another winter. It was a mild one here as far as Canadian winters go. But now it's looking like we've made it into the spring and we're going to coast our way right on through to the summer. So that makes me happy. I'm excited to get back out, shoot some videos outside, do some on the grounds reporting, and just get out there and talk to the people. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyways, for today, first thing I wanted to talk about was that last night at around 8:30 in the evening, we had the results come in, the voter results for the Toronto Danforth riding, where Christopher Porter of the Canadian Action Party was trying to get a seat, the late Jack Layton's seat, as a matter of fact, and become a member of Parliament. And the votes came in, and it looks like the NDP have managed to hold on to their seat. And now, that's not really too much of a big surprise. Many of us here in the city have known that the Toronto Danforth riding has had a huge NDP following for years now. So it's not too much of a surprise that they managed to hold on to their seat. But Christopher Porter and the Canadian Action Party took a good run at it, and they ended up coming in 7th place out of 11. Which is really not bad at all. That's nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever. It's actually it's a good accomplishment. So you know, kudos to Cap and everybody who was involved in that campaign. You guys did a really good job at raising a lot of awareness over the last few weeks about issues that really matter to Canadians. And you know, I personally don't align myself with any political party, none of them. However, as far as issues being raised about things that matter most to Canadians, certainly some of the things that the Canadian Action Party were talking about piqued my interest. Namely, you know, their knowledge of the banking system and how, you know, debt works and how cash operates in general. And I think there's still a lot of people here in Canada who need to learn about just that. An interesting thing about cash here in Canada that you may have heard before, I don't know, but I'll mention it to you today in case you haven't heard of this, is did you know that only 2% of money in the economy here in Canada is actually cash, physical cash, like paper bills and metal coins? Only 2%. The other 98% is debt. It's just numbers on a screen through business loans and lines of credit and mortgages and overdraft protection and credit cards and all these sorts of things are what make up the rest of cash in our society here in Canada. So there's no doubt there's an increasing, we're moving closer towards this idea of a completely cashless society. And I wanted to show you an article that I just saw from CBS that talks about how Switzerland is moving closer towards a completely cashless society. You'll see here from CBS News, Sweden moving towards cashless economy. Sweden was the first European country to introduce banknotes in 1661. Now it's come farther than most on the path towards getting rid of them. The contours of such a society are starting to take shape in the high-tech nation, frustrating those who prefer coins and bills over digital money. In most Swedish cities, public buses don't accept cash, tickets are prepaid or purchased with a cell phone text message, a small but growing number of businesses only take cards, and some bank offices, which make money on electronic transfers, have stopped handling cash altogether. There are towns where it isn't even possible anymore to enter a bank and use cash, complains Kurt Pearson, chairman of the Swedish National Pensioners Organization. And it goes on to say down here that bills and coins represent only 3% of Sweden's economy, compared to an average of 9% in the eurozone and 7% in the US, according to the Bank of International Settlements, an umbrella organization for the world's central banks. So, isn't that something? I find those numbers very telling. How 3% of the money in Switzerland is actually physical cash, 9% in the eurozone, 7% in the US, and as I said, only 2% here in Canada is actual physical money. So that just goes to show how far the advancements are coming along towards this cashless society. And this article that I was reading from goes on to talk about how it's going to make the world safer, basically by protecting you. It's going to make it harder. There's not going to be any burglaries or robberies anymore. It's going to make it tough for criminals to steal your cash. And that may be true to some extent, but I think what a lot of people aren't really considering is when you put that much power into the hands of the government. I mean, let's face it, our governments are corrupt and they will use it against us. For example, what happens when you, let's say, are in the grocery store, you're trying to buy food for your family, and you go to pay with your credit card, for instance. And let's say the teller says, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It says here that you have insufficient funds or there's a hold on your account. Can't process the transaction today. Sorry." And you might think to yourself, that's weird. I paid my bills. That doesn't make any sense. Oh well, I'll just pay with cash. Well, when you no longer have the option of paying with cash, what happens when the system says no? What happens when the computer says you are not allowed to make a transaction today? You're basically out of luck. So there's obviously an agenda to move us closer towards this concept of a completely cashless society, so that the powers that be can have that much more control over every aspect of our daily lives. And so that's why I think it's an important concept to understand about where money comes from, how money is created, where debt comes from, and how these inflating bubbles are inevitably going to pop, and will provide the excuse for this cashless society. I think one of the things that is only stopping us from moving towards a global unified world currency is an economic crisis. Again, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, it always comes down to order out of chaos. And really, the only thing that's stopping them now from introducing a global currency governed by a global governing authority, we're seeing such a trend towards this these days. The only thing that's stopping them from that is a major economic crash. And they are inevitably going to happen. When you are paying attention to what's happening in Italy and Greece, and with all the bailouts that are currently going on all around the world, because these debt bubbles are just getting so out of control. The solution to this problem, no doubt, will be we need to unite together. We need to have a common currency, and you have to put all your trust into us to govern all of your transactions. So I want to leave you with a couple films for you to check out in the description. I have a feeling I may have put links to these films before, possibly in a vlog I did a couple months ago. But they're such important films to watch and to get a solid base for your research and knowledge into the New World Order and how this whole system operates. It's key to being able to understand how money operates, how debt is created, and how cash is created. So The first one is Money is Debt. It's a shorter 45-minute documentary. Everything is compact into a comprehensive short 45-minute doc, which is a great place to start. So if you have some time today, I would certainly advise you to check that out. And the other one is called The Money Masters, which is, I believe, 4 hours long. Really, really gets in depth about all the different aspects of how money works, how debt works, and how governments and banks manage to have control over our lives. So I'd strongly suggest you check that out. And many of you, this may be, perhaps I'm preaching to the choir today. I think a lot of you probably are already well aware of the problems with debt-based, this debt-based system. But I was just reading that article this morning about Switzerland moving towards this cashless society, and just seeing those numbers, it's clear that this is a direction that we are heading in towards. So if you want to learn more about that topic, which I strongly suggest you should, it's key foundational information for anybody who wants to understand the New World Order. Check out those ones, Money is Debt and The Money Masters. I'll put links in the description. And so I guess that's it for today, guys. Once again, to Chris Porter and everyone who is involved with the Canadian Action Party's campaign, good job, guys, with raising awareness about these key issues. And that's it for today. I will talk to you all again tomorrow. Okay, take care.